One can't completely stop negative thoughts because we live in a universe of duality, so positive and negative. Everything has its counterpart, so you will probably always, in some form or fashion, experience negative thought forms. But it's crucial to understand that you are not your thoughts. You may think thoughts, but you are not your thoughts. You could literally be at your house and your next door neighbor could think a really fucked up thought, and then that thought pop into your consciousness because you guys are close by each other. It doesn't mean that you thought the thought, and it doesn't mean that the thought belongs and originates from you. It just means that you thought the thought. Don't give too much power and attention to something that is so fluid and ever-flowing and changing. The best way to stop your negative thoughts is to allow your negative thoughts. Allow all thoughts. Don't try to stop thinking, because it's impossible to stop thinking. The mind thinks involuntarily just as the heart beats involuntarily. So it's like trying to tell your heart to stop beating, and that doesn't happen either. It's easiest when you come to a place of self-compassion, forgiveness for where you're at, and an understanding that you are where you are, regardless of any other outside circumstance. You are going to be present with yourself in this moment. Come to an acceptance, and acceptance doesn't mean you have to like it. Acceptance doesn't mean I like what hurts. It means that I am aware and I understand that what has happened and transpired up to this point has led me to where I am right now. And when you get to that spot, also with allowing your thoughts, allowing yourself to just be. Allowing yourself to just be in this moment, not wanting to take anything from the moment, not wanting to add anything to the moment, not wanting or expecting anything from the moment. In complete allowance of all thoughts to be thought, because your inner being, your inner innocence, inner child, whatever label you want to give it, most of the time, if it's the one that's causing the negative thought patterns, it will just stir up a bunch of shit in the form of thoughts, because it just wants to be heard, and it wants to be noticed by you and given the space to be able to act in its own sovereign way. How do I put this? Your inner child just wants to know that even though you're driving the ship or whatever, if it ever has something that it wants to say, that you are going to honor that. And if need be, you're going to hand it the microphone and it's going to speak up and be able to express itself. Because a lot of us suppress our inner innocence, and it can make our awakening horribly difficult. Because it's almost like the inner child digs its claws in and says, you know what, I'm going to make everything so much more hard now because I can, and because you're ignoring me. Like, mine's even cussed at me before. So you can't stop your thoughts, but you can become in complete allowance of your thoughts and come into such a harmony with yourself and with your outside circumstance and the world around you that you won't have any negative thoughts. It's almost like the moment you allow yourself to be able to think negative thoughts, to hate somebody, to judge somebody, it's almost like once your inner self knows that you're giving it permission to act and honor it whenever it wants to act the way it wants to act. It's almost like the moment you do that, hate, criticism, negative thoughts never arise within you. Hope this helps.